Hey everyone, welcome to a fantastic episode of Nintendo Classics, where I review classic Nintendo games and classic games all around. This video we're going to be tackling the Fire Emblem series. Specifically, one entry in the series called Fire Emblem Awakening. But before that, a little explanation. Fire Emblem as a series has its cult following, ranging from people who like the combat and RPG elements, to the character interactions and the world in which it was built. Let's rewind the clock and go back in time to where no one outside of Japan knew what Fire Emblem was. A few months after I got Smash Bros., I actually got Fire Emblem 7 as a Christmas present from my mom and pop. I was both confused and excited at the same time because I wanted to know more about Marth and Roy, seeing as though they must have been super important for Nintendo to add them into Smash. Unfortunately, Fire Emblem 7 didn't have Roy nor Marth in it. But as a kid, I knew these games were special because they were pretty good to play, and were amazing to look at graphic-wise. Anyways, after Fire Emblem 7, my mom and dad got me Fire Emblem Sacred Stones and Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for both my Game Boy Advance and my GameCube. Safe to say, I was sufficed with both of these games, and they brought me hours upon hours of fun. Fast forward a little to the last entry in a long while, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Now, this game was better than Path of Radiance in terms of gameplay, but in terms of sales-wise, it was doing okay. And for a series like Fire Emblem, okay just wasn't enough. The company intelligence system was about to be bunked by Nintendo and was on the brink of going out. They had one shot. With this, they released Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS in 2013.
Crom, we have to do something.
What do you propose we do?
I don't know.
I see you're awake now.
Hey there.
There are better places to take a nap than on the ground, you know. Give me your hand.
For a lot of Fire Emblem fans, it was a breath of fresh air to the gameplay, UI, the world, the story, and even the characters. But none of these compared to the partnership system that the game had. Have a unit fight alongside another, and after a while, you were able to see their conversations and interactions. And to a longtime Fire Emblem fan, this blew my mind. Seeing your unit interact with others was pretty cool, and it felt like you, the player, was getting to know your unit more and more with each conversation. But there was one feature that I, and many other fans, definitely enjoyed.
I can't believe you made me love you. Course, if you back out, I'll murder you in your sleep.
Fire Emblem Awakening released on the 3DS in 2013, the first Fire Emblem game to not be released on a home console in a while. Fans were skeptical about this new entry in the series, saying that the 3DS will underperform and the game wouldn't be fun. But little did we know, Awakening's sales went out with a bang and surpassed the last Fire Emblem game, almost quadrupling its sales. It was safe to say that this wasn't the last we'd hear of Fire Emblem for a while.
Father!
With the success of Awakening, we got 2 Fire Emblem games after this, and a third one on its way. Off the topic of Awakening, let's talk about the other games that came out after it. First, we have Fates, expanding on what Awakening had built upon and giving players more gameplay and story than ever before with DLC and even amiibo support. Even though Fates built more upon what Fire Emblem Awakening made, there was another game that went farther beyond. This game was Echoes, a remake of Fire Emblem Shadow of Valentia. This game was also released on the 3DS and made use of what Fates had built upon. This time, there was more exploration, more story, and world building. Although some fans argue that Echoes not having a partnership system or support conversation like the other games is what hindered its sales, and that was the reason for a lot of Fire Emblem fans not gravitating towards this on its release. But going back to Awakening, this was the game that saved the franchise from being bunked.
Can't let these things win. Now grab a sword and fight!
Whether you play the games for world building, characters, or simply the combat, Fire Emblem Awakening is an amazing place to start.
Hey there.
There are better places to take a nap than on the ground, you know. Give me your hand. Welcome back. It's over now.